Create Table command is used to create tables. When using it, we should indicate the name of the table and put into brackets the definition of table columns, column name, data type, constraint, etc. This is required for each column. Constraints are the rules for the data. DBMS uses them to check new data before adding it to a table and return an error if the rules are not obeyed. Most commonly, constraints prohibit null values and duplicates in columns and specify the primary and foreign keys for the table. Additionally, you can specify default values and the calculation algorithm for each column. We will look at this further in the context. Let's create two tables in the database for training participants created earlier. Groups table containing a group number, the year of its creation and disbanding, and trainees table, which contains the last name, the first name, the patronymic name, the name of birth, and years of study for each trainee. Let's make the primary keys of both tables as surrogate ones and give them a big serial data type, which will generate new values automatically while inserted. As there are several people studying in one group, but one person can be a part of only one group, these tables have one-to-many relationships. That is why a primary key of groups table will be a foreign key in trainees table. To create the group table, we can use the following script. The columns of the table will be group ID, a surrogate primary key, group number, a numeric value indicating the numeric group number, creation year, the year the group was formed, and disband year, the year of its disbanding. The group ID column has a primary key constraint, specifying the primary key and a big serial data type. Group number and creation year columns have not null constraints because these columns are expected to always be filled. Additionally, creation year is set as a default value using a default keyword. Let's assume that a record is added in the year the group is formed, so the default value is equal to the current calendar year. Current date is a special PostgreSQL value that returns a current calendar date. And extract function allows us to get the selected component from the date, the year in our case. Let's create a groups table in our training center database. Please note that ahead of a new table name, we added the training data schema name created earlier. Run the script. We can see that it processed successfully. As our session is set to auto-commit, we can immediately see the table in the editor sidebar. Let's check how inserting data works and add a new group into this table. We indicate the name of the table considering the schema and the columns which we will insert values into. The value for group ID and creation year should be generated automatically. Leave disband year empty and insert the value only into group number. For example, this can be the value 101. We can see that one row has been inserted. Let's check the value in the groups table. We see that group ID was inserted automatically and is equal to the figure of 1. Group number is 101 as we indicated. Creation year is equal to 2020 calendar year and is inserted automatically as well, and disband year is null as we didn't specify it. While trying to insert an empty value into group number or null, we will see an error. This is because while creating the table, we specified that the values in this field cannot be empty. Now, let's create a trainees table. In addition to the surrogate primary key, this table also contains group ID foreign key to the group table. The value of this key, as well as all trainees attributes except for the year of disbanding, has a not null constraint. The enrollment year has a default value equal to a current calendar year. Moreover, a full name column value is generated automatically when inserting and updating first and last name columns and consists of the last and the first name separated by a space. To generate the values to some columns from others, generated always as binding is used. Stored keyword indicates that the column is stored on disk after being generated, rather than being calculated every time the table is queried. Future versions of PostgreSQL will be able to support generating values on the fly, but for now, stored is the only option available. Let's now create a trainees table. We also specified the schema name training data before the table name. Let's run our script. We see that it is processed successfully. Our new table also appeared in the sidebar, as we have an auto commit by default. And now we can try to insert the data into our new trainees table. We will insert data into group ID, first name, last name, and birth date. Group ID must be the one that already exists in the groups table, that is the figure of 1. This is exactly the value that was automatically generated when inserting a value into the dim groups table. Indicate the first and the last name, for example Peter Petrov, and the date of birth like the 1st of January 1989. Run the script. We can see that the row was inserted successfully. Thanks to the auto commit, we can immediately see how this row looks in the trainees table. We did not specify trainee ID, and it was generated automatically, became a figure of 1. We specified group ID, so we see the figure of 1 from the dim groups table. The first and the last name are Petr Petrov. The full name was generated as the first name space the last name. The date of birth, as we indicated, is the 1st of January 1989, and the year of enrollment is 2020. A current calendar year was automatically inserted. We did not specify the year of disbanding, so it is null.